what do you say to the argument? I just saw some statistics that the vast majority of taxes paid, charitable contributions in Wall Street, in New York City, comes from that demonized 1%.
It's not the demonized 1%. Let's just be real clear. The game is rigged, and it's rigged in favor of those who have money and who have power. Watch what happens in Wall Street. If you can hire an army of lobbyists and an army of lawyers, then you'll get what you need out of Washington. Washington will make sure that the rules work for you.
But can you fix that until you fix campaign finance reform?
Well, that is a big part of it.
Your campaign cost $40 million.
That's right. And you know what it took to make that happen? Because I think it was really important. It was lots of folks making $50 donations. You know, about 80% of our money came from people who made donations of $50 or less. God bless every one of them.
I know when you were campaigning, when you meet a little girl, you would bend down and say, I'm Elizabeth Warren, I'm running for Senate, because that's what girls do.
You bet.
But Rebecca Trainer, I think, from the New York Times, pointed out that more women were burned at the stake as witches in Massachusetts historically than sent to Congress. What has to change? How do you get more women in the seats of power?
Well, you know, part of it is...
And are you seeing sexism at that level?
Look, part of it is that we got to bring in little girls, big girls, you know, grown women. I'll tell you one thing that's really important to me, and that is whatever job I make it to, it's to look back and say, where's the next woman who's ready to move up the ladder, and let's bring her up. You know, I've never been a candidate for the United States Senate before, but I'll tell you something about when I ran. My campaign manager was a woman. My deputy campaign manager was a woman. The person who handled my media was a woman.
Now you have a women's bathroom, a bigger women's bathroom.
And now we have a bigger ladies' room in the United States Senate. On the other hand, I got to tell you, we're not resting until we at least get to 50 seats in the United States Senate.
You talk about an episode in the late 90s. There was a bankruptcy bill that the big financial firms were trying to gut. Ted Kennedy became your angel, tried to lead this thing through. You went to First Lady Hillary Clinton, who encouraged her husband to veto it. But in your last book, you wrote that after Hillary, as New York Senator, reversed her stance on that, you wrote, it seems that Hillary could not afford such a principled position as senator. What's your relationship with her now?
I think Hillary is terrific. She's out there doing a lot of good work.
You signed a letter, along with other lawmakers, encouraging her to run for president. Why don't you want to run for president?
No, I'm not running for president. I'm working right now on the issues I talk about in this book. America's middle class has been hammered for a generation now. My life's work has been just to try to level the playing field. Washington works for those who can hire an army of lobbyists and an army of lawyers, not so much for regular families. So I have had one fight after another. That's why the book is called A Fighting Chance, in order to get out there to fight for these families, to fight to level the playing field. That's what I'm working on right now.
But my question is less about ambition, and it's more about your cause and the soul of the party. Because if Hillary wins in a couple of years, odds are she's going to bring in the Robert Rubins and the Larry Summers, the kind of Wall Street insiders that you were sort of philosophically opposed. So doesn't the Elizabeth Warren Democratic Party matter to you as opposed to one led by Hillary, who gives speeches to Goldman Sachs?
I think what we have to remember is that we live our values every single day. And for me, right now, what that means is fighting for the things we need to fight for, not years from now, not down the line, leveling the playing field right now.